to do it, because it's not all, the same thing, it's not all glamorous being independent. Like, you hear a lot of people running around saying, I'm independent, and man, you're probably independent because you didn't get a major deal.
I got a question about that. I'm independent, and I didn't get a major deal yet, but I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I'm Red Cafe. I got my spins on the record stations and everything, and you know what I'm saying? I ain't got nobody to go to. I'm not making big cheddar, but I got my spins on the radio.
So how were you on?
Huh?
So how were you on besides your ego?
My hustle.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
Management.
But hold on, because we're gonna get to the questioning. But I just want to define certain rules. Like Buckshot says, if you're not selling the record, it's just a hobby. All right, because at that point you still need to find a way to have distribution for your product. Just having spins on the radio.
I'm talking about signing. I'm talking about tours and stuff like that.
We're gonna open it up in a little bit, but I'm still just trying to give a broader overview of independent versus major, and the pros and cons of it of really where we are. So to summarize it, independent, be prepared to fund it, be prepared to spend your money, be prepared to not have the same advantages that a major label system has, and a major label, like a lot of us, we paint it out like it's this evil empire, but there's no better place to be if you can hold the weight of what that major label can bring to a table. If I could get Sean Price, who's an underground phenomenon, and he has like a cult-like following where we go, but if Leo Cohen called me and was like, yo, I'm really feeling what Sean is doing, I would upstream him into that system, because then he has the potential to do some of the things that we can't do for him as an independent. So there's the pros and cons. Like independent, you can make more moves, it's more flexible, but you're going to have your challenges of what you can really do, because the way the system is set up, because the way your money is set up, and because the way independent distribution is set up versus the major system.
Okay, thanks. Just because we have a wide variety of A&Rs that have different experiences, I'm sure you guys all have your different sources to find new talent. Would you like to elaborate on that, where you guys look for talent? Or do you look, or is it just unsolicited material that's being sent to you? What is it?
I look everywhere. Honestly, I look everywhere. And going back to what Toad spoke about earlier, relationships, because I tend to give more, I listen closer, I suppose, to music that's brought to me from people that I trust, who have experience in the game in terms of knowing what quality is and have been able to, like Riggs has, sell over 50 million hours, and having been a part of those types of projects. So I'll definitely, if somebody hits me up and I know them, y'all have new artists, instead of saying send me the music because I have zero time in the day, I'll tell them to come in and I'll meet with them. But aside from that, it's really web. Like I take everything. If I can get to everything and just give it a listen, I'm listening. 10 seconds is good enough for me. Like I can tell if it's hot or not. And it's not necessarily a quality mix master issue. It doesn't have to be the best product out there. When I first heard Soulja Boy, he was on MySpace. He still did all his beats. It was mad rough. But I was like, that's hot. And it's
they just ran me the fuck out of there. But every other city I go, whether I'll go into the hood and I just kind of sniff around, like I said, or just when I'm local, or like asking like my little cousins, who you feel, and even they might not put you on to a certain artist, but they're gonna put you on to what kids are listening to, what type of shit, like, you know what I mean? Like something we've learned in the last 6 months is, this sort of hipster hip-hop thing is legitimate. There's equity. That's what these kids are listening to. It's what, you go to Brooklyn, your kids are wearing skinny jeans and riding skateboards. That's going to affect the type of artists that we should be signing.
I never go to Brooklyn, but yeah, I agree.
I developed a very weird habit at the source, and it's a great habit. Because we had to have the issue in on time, in October we had to listen to music and be up on music way in advance, and that's a habit that I picked up, and it's something that I use to this day. It's just, I have to hear something new. Because of the internet, there's more music out there, the blogs, just everywhere, all across the board. Adding on to the big focus of relationships, definitely I get a lot of good stuff from the relationships with people that I know. They might have something, I'm going to trust their word to listen to it. I'm not going to say I'm going to sign it, but You know, it's just a habit of just listening to something new. And right now, more than ever, there's definitely space for something new, something creative, something left. It's not out there the way it should be, but you know, that's what I'm here for. So if there's somebody in this room that's that next level shit, let's go.
Holla. Holla.
Okay, the next question is about something that's like affected 12 and 13-year-olds. Kids are talking in the park, like if an album flops, they're like, oh, he sound scanned 20,000. And you're like, how do these little kids get, you know, sound scan numbers, BDS numbers? How important is that today for artists that you're looking to sign? You know, do you ask those questions though? You know, how many spins do you get? And so on. And
oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, questions like that, how many spins do you get? Are you selling any records? You know, blah, blah, blah. That's basically, those are indicators of, do you have an audience? Every business is about your market, like Ant was talking about. Sometimes people, labels, and executives lose sight of who their market is, their real market. And the market buys your product, basically. The labels cultivate a product. We, you know, distribute a product. If we don't know who the market is, then it's a wrap. So all these questions really lead to, does this person have an audience? So when Drew's, you know, talking to this kid, this young gentleman before, he says he's a rapper, he's buzzing, he's popping. It's like, okay, you're saying all that, but are you actually selling any products? Because if you are, then the labels are going to latch onto you. When I was interning at Universal Records, Dino actually signed Cash Money Records to an unprecedented deal. 100% ownership retained of all their masters. That's incredible. 33 million at the time. Nobody had ever done that, and I don't think it's been done since. When you see that, it's like, damn, why would he do that? How does the label make any music? Like Drew was speaking about earlier, with independents versus majors, most majors are distributors. They just happen to say, oh, wow, at the time, in 80s, 90s, whatever, we can make a lot more money if we actually sign the artist directly to us because we have this global reach versus an indie label or company that has a very local and regional reach. So you have to consider, do you have a product that's saleable? If you say, yeah, I'm hot, I'm really popping, nobody's on my level, then sell your product, even if it's a little bit. If you can prove that you're doing that, then a label that's an indie or mid-size or on a major will say, they'll get together and then we'll say, well, can they do this globally? Can they do this nationally, first of all? And then can they do this globally if we back them with our resources, financial, marketing, and human resources here? And if it looks viable enough to them, if it looks like something that's candy, they're going to jump on you, and they're going to jump on you. So you could think you're popping, but
I just wanted to address the question specifically too, like how much do you sell and does that make you a flop or not? It's like, yo, tell that, what the kids don't understand or what everyone may not understand is 20,000 records could equal $200,000 in billing. So how much did you spend to, you know, to out of that 200,000 and how much is going in your pocket as profit? As an independent, you understand that maybe you're spending a lot less, so that could be a successful release for an independent label, but for a major label, that'll look like a flop. So, you know, sometimes it's the bottom line, like any other business. How much are you putting into it? How much are you getting out as profit? That's the business. That's it.
okay, now you guys can all ask questions out there. There's a young lady right there with the mic, so raise your hands.
I just want to say one thing. Your man here and him too, they got pads, so I'm already impressed.
Take notes.
Michael? Alright, cool. My name is Mike Mills, hip-hop artist out of Far Rockaway. I just got a question. Artists with big names like 50 Cent or Eminem that start their own label, or T.I. or whatever, start their own label, right? How beneficial is it for like up-and-coming artists that really that's really looking for like to go to the next level as being an artist? How beneficial is it for, you know, us signing to these artists that have their own label